Hey, what's up, people? T is true. Part two of the video that I mentioned with my PS4, why PS4 will win. This one is going to talk about why I think the Xbox One will win next gen. So, as I kind of alluded to already in the PS4 video, um, the main strength that I think that Microsoft has is, um, by focusing on the kind of the all-in-one box, the media center box. I really do think that they have a box and they have a system that will appeal to a larger, variety of people. So their target audience is larger, and I ultimately think that can lead to them, uh, getting more sales, and actually expanding beyond the pure gaming audience, which is a big deal. Um, so in particular, I mean, again, the systems are really closely the same. Most people already know, like I said, I have a PS3 now. That was my preferred system this generation. I'm already got PS4 pre-ordered. I'm going to get a PS4 as a gamer. But I'm a gamer in general first and foremost. I just work and love, everything about the gaming industry. So, this is, meant to be an objective analysis. But I truly do believe that the next generation Connect will ultimately be a killer app, so to speak, and a selling point for the Xbox One. Um, I think that the idea of us using our technology and using our like consumer electronics with just our voice, not so much our gesture. I mean, that still seems kind of awkward sometimes, but gesture as well. But definitely our voice. It really is just more practical. It's just much more seamless, and it's something that we don't realize we need. Even the gaming community right now complaining about the next generation Connect, and I understand why. I mean, the first generation Connect didn't really work as advertised. It was much more cumbersome to use than not. So by and large, it just collected dust. But assuming that, again, this is a big if, assuming that this next generation Connect works as advertised, um, I think a year from now, 2 years from now, we're going to be laughing back at this time where everyone, was so much against the next generation Connect, because I do really think that it's going to be so ubiquitous with using that system. And in general, it's going to expand where our expectation is going to be to use all of our systems, all of our gaming systems and our devices in the way that the next generation Connect will allow us to. I just really do believe that that's going to be a difference when people start in a few months get it in their homes, and again assuming it works, and they find themselves being able to just do so much so fast with just their voice, and some simple gestures to do really complicated things like they showed at the Xbox One unveil, like being able to snap and expand and scroll and all these kind of things with simple gesture with your hands or simple voice commands. We're gonna wonder how we use our systems before with just a controller. Like I really do think that there is the potential for that big of a difference. And the strength for Microsoft is that difference is not something that only the gamer can appreciate. Okay, that is a difference that everyone can appreciate. Mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, male, female, young, old, may be able to appreciate that. Because there isn't a learning curve into saying like, you know, bring up TV, bring up CBS or bring up Netflix, right? I mean, there's nothing really to learn, so anyone can do that. And if it works as advertised, everyone has it in their box. I really can see people buying Xbox completely independent of games. Just they want that device because they want that as their entertainment hub in their living room. That's what Microsoft is trying to do. I think the next generation Connect is obviously a big part of that. And, again, I never had the Connect, and, the first generation Connect did nothing for gaming. And I'm not even talking about the second generation Connect doing much for gaming either. But I do think that the pure system level functionality is something that can be ubiquitous with using that device, right? And how we use that system. And it can get to the point where we'll expect to be able to use all of our systems like that, 5 years down the road. I think it will be something where voice and gestures will be a lot more commonplace across everything. and I think the Kinect has a potential to play a big part in that. So that's a big selling point for Microsoft side in general. The live TV thing, I mean, again, they're going to try to say that's a selling point. They're not really emphasizing that at launch. I don't see that as being something worth buying the system for, simply because it's basically just a wrapper around your television, and the number of people that watch television is already declining anyway. So, but I mean, for people that are interested in that and that do watch television, it can add some value. So that, that would be a big part of it, I think, in terms of helping that. Doing things, I think the UI, just the way the user interface is, Microsoft, they write Windows, right? They write operating systems. They're a software company. I think they get that a lot better than Sony does in general, just understanding how to build software and services efficiently and rapidly, that can cater to their audience. So I do think that, for example, Skype, even though, personally for me as a gamer, I mean, Skype is not going to do a whole lot for me. When they announced it, I kind of thought of it as kind of a corny thing. I'm like, really, Skype, But again, the general person is, don't really video chat that much. A lot of people don't even know about FaceTime on their phone all that much. And, but if they have this device that lets them be able to talk to anyone else with that device in the living room on a 1080p feed in clarity, I think that's something, again, that people will use. And again, it's so seamless and accessible, because you can just say, Xbox, Skype this person kind of thing. I mean, it's something that will be accessible, as opposed to having to navigate with this complicated controller through various levels of menus that take seconds and seconds to load each. I mean, that's something that the average person is going to be like, okay, I don't want to be bothered with that. But when they could just go and say, okay, bring up Skype, that's something that, in my case, I'm away from my family, and I can really see myself doing that to, just to maintain communication with my mom and my sisters and my nieces and so forth. So I do think that that's going to be something that general people will take note of. So basically, what I'm saying is that the strength of the Xbox One is its ability to appeal to a wider audience. And as I was saying in my last video about PS4, that is potentially important, because at the end of the day, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft all want to really be able to expand beyond the gamer. Because the gamer isn't that large, right? The hardcore gamer is traditionally 10 to 15 million. So the first 10 to 15 million people, generally, that's like your hardest or hardcore people that are basically going to buy the most software and support the system the hardest, usually, right? After that, you got to kind of start expanding to what they call softcore or midcore, right? And then you got to keep going from there, right? So, what needs to happen is that you have a device where you are able to cater to as many people as possible, right? And at the end of the day, Xbox is in a position to do that a lot better than Sony can. So what I think we will genuinely see is not so much right away. I mean, again, the hardcore gamers right away. But I can see a situation where, 3-4 years on the road, the gamer loves PlayStation, right? I mean, the PlayStation is the place for gamers. The hardcore gamers love it. Sony's getting all the love on NeoGAF and on the forums and stuff like that. But Microsoft is laughing to the bank with, 3 times the amount of sales that the PS4 has. Because they're able to expand into that market. The PS2, best-selling game system of all time, 13 years to get to 150 million. That's not a whole lot. Again, when you think about the Galaxies and the iPhones coming out, selling 10 million a month almost, right? So that's not a whole lot. And, Microsoft and Sony both really want to expand beyond that. But they know that they have the best chance to do that by first getting that audience to ride them. Because that audience is gonna buy it right away and get it in homes and start spreading word of mouth and start spreading positive buzz, so to speak, and kind of set the foundation. But Microsoft is in a better position to do that with the Xbox One, the next generation Kinect, Skype, just the communication, the social aspect, the TV aspect, and I think and then the family-friendly games. I can't go. I'll be remiss to go without mentioning the Xbox Fitness, which they just recently announced, and that has really big potential to be a killer app. It has nothing to do with games, but Americans especially are fitness crazy and health and trying to be health conscious. So the idea of having a box that again can make a personalized fitness experience in your living room, and with this Connect device that can track your body motions and detect your heart rate and just kind of monitor your workout is something that a lot of people can jump on. Again, Microsoft has deep pockets, so if they market that thing correctly, that has real potential to really blow up, I think, and to really appeal to a lot of people, and that can be a lot more powerful than just a gamer. So at the end of the day, if you were going to ask me who will win next gen, as I kind of mentioned before, it depends on what you mean by win. If by win meant that the gaming community is, it's their preferred platform, then PlayStation is in a very good position to do it. And I personally believe that Sony and PlayStation 4 will do that. PlayStation will probably be the number one gaming device on the market, like PlayStation 2 was. If by when we're talking which system will sell the most units, that's a very different question. It remains to be seen, honestly. There's still a lot of question marks for both systems. But if you were going to ask me, I would have to say that in the way it looks now, Microsoft is in a better position to ultimately sell more, and it could be a lot more if it really blows up and if they really catch on to the general populace. Right? I mean, there's over 100 million people in the U.S. alone that use smartphones and game on smartphones and tablets and PC. Microsoft is going after that person that just uses devices for entertainment in general. Sony is going for the person who is the loyal PlayStation fan. Sony is going for the people that bought the 150 million units of PlayStation 2, which is fine. But that may not be enough. That's just something to realize. That may not be enough. So, Microsoft has the general audience targeted, and we'll see how it goes. It's going to be interesting. Like I said, I'm going to be day one PS4, but we'll see later on. I might need an Xbox for fitness for my wife, or for my kids, for family friendly stuff. Who knows, right? So anyway, that's my opinion. That's my vote. So we'll see in a few months. So take care. Signing off.